Good morning. Welcome to BGEN 253 Business Statistics. Hopefully I got all that correct. We have a large class. We have a full class, 25, and there's I think one or two others maybe still thinking of adding. So it's going to be a big class. You'll see things are pretty well set up, and let's go through and talk about it a little bit. Everything's on D2L, and you'll note that you can scroll down, you can get through about week 3, but you might have to come down and click on this show all news items, and that will bring everything up. So you can look at the full semester, and I think I have things pretty well set up for the entire semester. Boy, if you get ready to click on an assignment or a quiz or something and it's not right, please send me an email and I will try to fix it as quickly as possible. So, because I've been known to make some mistakes like that, or even if you're used to them being at 11:30 the deadline, and all of a sudden you see one that's at 2:30 in the afternoon, you know it's probably a mistake on my part. And so send me a quick email, give me a call, and I will try to fix that. So let's kind of get started and look through the syllabus a little bit, see what you're faced with here. Let me make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. There we go, it's online. In your career, you're going to need to have some background in statistics. In my career as a banker, I didn't have to do a lot of statistics, but I had to understand statistics and what they represented, and hopefully we'll do a little bit of that, but you're going to get into the mathematical side of it and actually doing some of it as well. I found it interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the lab at the hospital, and I mentioned that I taught business statistics, and he started reciting some of the very things that we go through in business statistics, and I said, "Gosh, you use that where you work in the lab?" And he goes, "That's about all I do is use statistics." So it's kind of you might find it interesting where some of this stuff comes up and where it's important. On the far end of the scale, I have a buddy also I went to high school with who got his master's degree in statistics from Stanford University. So yes, he's a brainiac, and so you take it to that extent too, I guess, if you really enjoyed statistics. So required Excel. You're definitely going to need Excel. I am going to require, and I think in the first video for the first chapter I said this different, but I am going to require that you do your homework in Excel, okay, or at least a spreadsheet program, and that your work is viewable. And what do I mean by that? Well, in Excel, obviously you could just type in the answer, but I want, if there's a place where there should be a formula, I want to be able to click on that cell and see the formula that you have that'll show up above. While the answer may be the only thing that actually shows up, I want to be able to click on that and make sure that the formula is in there and that you did the work as required. So I hate to say it from past classes, but I'm doing that because I want to make sure that you're actually doing what's necessary. A lot of this I'm scrolling through. You'll see that it's pretty generic stuff that we put on most of our syllabi. And then at the end of grades, the part that most people are mostly concerned about, quizzes 50%, assignments 50%. You'll see no tests, no projects. You guys are going to work hard getting through the quizzes and assignments. It's a 200 level class that honestly, some of the subject matter, it's pretty mathematical, it's pretty quantitative, it's pretty involved. It's going to test you, okay? My advice is hang in there, number one, stick with it. You will find, interestingly enough, I found as I've taught this now for the last year and a half, that students might do really well in the first 3 or 4 chapters. They might bonk on chapter 5, and because it doesn't make sense to them, they don't get it, but they jump back in chapter 6, everything's kind of going well again. And so you might find as we move from subject to subject that your level of interest and your level of understanding might change, and so don't give up on it. Just because one chapter wasn't as clear to you, don't give up. The next chapter may be perfectly clear. And that's just kind of the way I've seen statistics work with a lot of the students. So, okay, and always feel free to contact me for assistance. Okay, that's the syllabus. So please read through that. Please get a little bit of an understanding of it. You'll see if you click on here, it'll take you to the textbook website, and this is what your textbook will look like: Statistical Techniques in Business and Economics by Lind, Marshall, and Wathen. You guys will come to this because you'll come to the student edition, and you'll actually, there's a few places where we're going to download some information, right? These data sets, data files, and a few things like that. Okay. They also give some help with Excel. That might even be new. I don't know that I've looked at those, so and screen cam tutorials, so you guys might want to take a look at those. Those might be new. Now I'm going to have to go through and kind of take a look at them, which it might give you some additional resources in addition to what I'm going to show you as we go through week to week. There might be some additional resources there that they'll provide, so please feel free to take a look at those things. I'd recommend absolutely that you take a look at those things. Another resource that you might want to consider is the Khan Academy, KAHN. They talk about statistics in there. You can go to the statistics. They talk about everything at the Khan Academy, but you can certainly go there and you can click on statistics. The one thing I found with the Khan Academy is they don't do a lot in Excel. They do a lot of it longhand, which gives you a great conceptual background into some of the statistics. And a really good understanding. If you really want to learn how to do statistics the hard way, it's a great resource. We're going to do a lot of the stuff in Excel, which obviously Excel does a lot of the heavy lifting for us, and so nevertheless, if it's the concept that's escaping you, go to the Khan Academy and listen to some of the stuff that they talk about, and it's not too hard to find the stats and whatnot that's in there. So. Actually, I have gone there a few times when there were a few things that I was kind of looking at and going, ugh. Okay. You'll see then that each chapter, is set up. Now, weeks 1 and 2 look busy because I've got assignments and quizzes, 2 of them, so you're going to get through 4 chapters. And then it kind of eases up. When we get to 9 and 10, there's a couple more chapters there. I did that because 1 and 2 should not be, weeks 1 and weeks 2, or the information from chapters 1 through 4, should not be that difficult. I mean, that should be a lot of it's basic mathematical concepts, things that you guys have had. It should be some review stuff, means and averages are the same thing. Means, modes, medians, those types of things that you guys should already know. I think the first chapter or 2, in fact, well, you do have assignments for each of them. So, get in early and do it. Now, good time to explain. I think everything in this class is due like on Sunday nights, for example. Keep in mind that if I had you in a classroom, I'd have you for 3 hours a week, and I would expect that you would do 3 hours outside of class as well. Okay, and so while everything's due Sunday night at 11:30, I can promise you that if you don't sit down to your computer until 9 o'clock, giving yourself 2.5 hours to complete everything, you will fail. Okay, plan to use the 6 hours. Okay, plan to use the 6 hours that I would expect from you in a normal class. Okay, please, start early in the week, work on it. You can start and stop some of these things and keep at it, and I think you'll find that then you will do okay. Things are pretty well explained as we go through it, and students that have devoted that kind of time to it have been fairly successful. Students that wait until 2 hours before the deadline fail, quite simply. Okay. You will see that down here I have Word docs for Chapter 1 quiz, Chapter 2 quiz, and then the actual quizzes are up here. These are quizzes that are set up on D2L. Okay, these are the Word docs. So what I'm telling you, or what I'm allowing you to do, what I want you to do, is to open up the Word doc for the quiz. kind of walk through that, and we'll make it a little bigger, and okay. And there it is, the main purpose. These quizzes are meant to be a little bit more conceptual as opposed to quantitative that we'll get into it. Some of these are going to be quantitative, don't get me wrong. I'm not promising you that all of these are conceptual. Decent number of questions. Look at that. Ooh, golly, 27. Okay, take your book out, take the quiz out, print it out if you want to, or do it right here on your computer, and answer the questions on the Word doc quiz. This is the same quiz that will be on D2L. Okay, same exact quiz, same order, same everything. Okay, and so I'm giving you this so that you can look up the answers and be prepared, so that when you open up the actual quiz itself, and I don't think there's any time deadlines on these, but you just as well do it here first, and then you can whip through the quizzes online on the D2L pretty quickly. Okay, pretty darn quickly. So please take advantage of that. Again, this is some. I'm doing this fashion because it's some difficult stuff. You know, if you started to try to answer some of those quiz questions off the top of your head, oh my goodness. Okay, and yet you can look it up, and I think it'll give you a chance to open up the book, study a few of those things. Okay, so have at that, and that's the same for every single chapter. Okay, everything's set up that way. The quiz is available. Okay, the assignments, you know, when you click on those, okay, and they're in a Word, they're just going to give you the exercises in the book, and we need to talk about that just a little bit. Okay, complete chapter exercises 2, 4, 8, and 10. Also complete data set exercise 22. That's a good spot for me to point out some things. Okay, one thing. You have to, when you're going through the textbook, there's exercises that are towards the back of the chapter, but you'll flip back there and you'll see that might start with exercise number 9. And you're going, oh my God, where's exercises 1 through 8? Okay, that was my first reaction when I got the textbook. They're interspersed throughout the chapter. I think it's a dirty trick that the publisher, the book writers, are playing on you guys. Okay, it actually makes you go through the chapter a little bit to find the exercises. Maybe you'll pick up some of the other information by osmosis. Okay, so you got to start at the beginning of the chapter to find all of the exercises. So make sure you do that. Okay, so you got 2, 4, 8, and 10, and then the data set exercise number 2. And that exercise then is in the back of the chapter. I think that one is located in the back of the chapter. Okay, so you go to that. What do I mean by data set? And again, if you come to the textbook website, oops, I guess I already had it open, and you go to the student edition, and it says data sets. Okay. It tells you which one, and I'm not sure which one it was there for that for the first chapter, if it's Applewood or banking or baseball or Buena School District or Goodyear, whichever one it is, you can open that up, and that'll open up in a Excel sheet. Okay, so if it's this one, fine. Then you can just right-click on this. Oops, after I click Enable Editing. Okay, then I can right-click on this, and I can move that into the spreadsheet that I'm using for my homework, right? So you can just move that whole tab over into the spreadsheet that you're using for your homework. I hope. Yeah, let me show you. Let me walk you through that so we know how to do it. Let me open up a new Excel. Maybe that won't open up a new one. Doggone it. Yeah, let me open up what do I want to open up here? I'll open up a new one of these. How about? Hopefully it'll create it in a whole different spreadsheet. Yep, click Enable Editing. Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. Hopefully you guys can kind of see it then, so hang on just a second. Okay, sorry I had to pause, and hopefully I can get back to what I was doing, but I was showing you how to put the different spreadsheets together, the different sheets together into one workbook. Okay, and this will be kind of important as you do your homework. So I want to combine this one, let's say. I'll just click here and it'll say move or copy, and it gives me a little deal here. And I want to put it on the Applewood dataset, which is the other one, because this one's the ATM or whichever it's called, right? And I can either put it before or I can move it to the end. It doesn't really matter. If I was a little nervous, I could say create a copy, but there you go. And now I've got both of these, okay, different ones into the same workbook. Okay, and so when you're downloading those data sets and you want to move that over into the workbook that you've created for your assignments, that's how you do it. It's relatively easy. So, okay, I'm going to get rid of those and go back to we're talking about here. I went through the syllabus, I showed you the textbook website, we talked about assignments, talked about the quizzes that you do. Videos are going to be available. I think in this case videos are fairly indispensable. Okay, I will walk through your assignment. Basically, I will choose problems or exercises that are not in your assignment. Your assignment, by the way, I think are all even numbers, because all the odd numbered exercises, the answers are in the back of the book. Okay, and I'm going to go through the odd numbered ones to show you guys how to go through the even numbered assignments then that you guys have to turn in. Okay, and so if you need to test yourself and see, work on the odd numbered ones, and especially the ones that I do with you or do on the videos, that should allow you to be pretty successful then in the assignments. And I've had people say that what they will often do is they'll have the video up, open it in a window here, and they'll have their Excel open up in here, and they'll have their book opened, and they'll, as I'm going through, say, exercise 1, which is similar to exercise 2, they'll just do exercise 2 in the same fashion, but obviously there are different numbers and whatnot, and follow along. And then you finish it, and you got the video to help you, and you can look in the back and see what the number 1 answer was and things like that. So do that, and you should find success in doing the assignments. Okay. As you guys put the assignments into the Dropbox, it's wonderful. Okay. I am probably going to get behind in correcting those, just so you know. Okay. I'm going to try diligently to stay up. But for whatever reason, business statistics assignments take me forever to correct and go through. Try to think of good ways to shorten that process, but thus far I haven't found any. And so I'll probably get behind on those, and for that I'm going to apologize ahead of time, because it just takes a long time to go through each one of those, and we have a very full class. It's plumb full according to the D2L, and typically I think the biggest class I've had in stats was thus far is 13 or 14. So this is going to be a task, okay, for me and for you guys. The videos are pre-recorded, so I've recorded these actually for prior semesters, so you might find some references into dates and times that are a little bit off. It shouldn't affect the actual working on the assignments and whatnot. The quizzes, do you need to listen to the video first? Probably not. I don't know that you'll learn a lot in the videos that are going to help you with the quizzes, so certainly you can work ahead in the quizzes without too many problems. The assignments, I think you're going to find the videos to be valuable. There's no discussions. If you guys want me to set up a group thing because you want to work together or share some stuff, that's fine. I don't have any problems doing those types of things. Just let me know, and I'd be happy to set something like that up. You all have to do your own homework. Obviously, you have to turn it in. Please do it in Excel. And as I go through the stuff that you'll turn in, please do it in Excel, and please turn it in into the Dropbox and make sure that it's your own work, and please show all your work in those. So I think I think I'll bid you adieu then. In that case, I gotta check and see The Chapter 1 assignment I don't think requires a lot of Excel work and whatnot, and so I'll check and make sure on that and see if there was a separate video for Chapter 1 that I need to include in there. If so, I will get that added. Thanks. I'll look forward to the class, and if you have questions, please contact me, email, or phone call.